Hi everybody, welcome to this tutorial video about the Unit 6 project that you're going to be doing with your classmates. So let's jump right into it. So it's project 6.1, it's a group assignment, and it's called Social Media Website. And basically what it is you're going to create a website. You and your teammates are going to create a website on one particular social media website. It could be, the different sites are Friendster, MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Vine, TikTok, and LinkedIn. So these are the names of the people that have been grouped for 770401. If you're from 7979608, the other class, I'm not sure if that's the right number, but then your breakdown is going to be, your name should be in here. So anyway, so for example, you're going to, in group 1 here, Ezra would be assigned to do, this is not mandatory. It doesn't have to be A, B, C. You know, you can take any section, but each person should be responsible for a section. But Kevin can do section A, for example. Andrew could do section C, and Ezra can. This is not tied directly to the ABC, if you know what I mean. But anyway, section A. So, for example, if Ezra was assigned to section A, he would be responsible for doing some research on the history of Friendster. How did it come about? You know, what are some of the origins? Who were the main creators of it? And then, why was it created? Some of the different questions: who, what, where, when, and why. Is it still owned by the originators? Like Friendster, I think has been out of business for a while, so you can talk about some of that history. How many users were on the site? Like Friendster's was, a very small fraction of the world was on Friendster, compared to today. And did they make money? Well, I think Friendster did make some money. And how did they do it? Well, did they sell ads or something? Did they originate some concepts that were eventually, exploited to make a lot more money? I think Friendster may have been one of the ones that did. But you're going to be the experts, because I am not the expert. You're going to be the experts. And then you're going to share your information. That's the whole assignment. You become the experts, make this awesome website. Like you guys have all been making awesome websites. And then your groups, your other classmates are going to learn from your website. All right, so let's say section B from this group, let's just say theoretically it's assigned to Andrew Beltran. So in that case, Andrew would take Friendster and look at the details of the site. Who uses the site, like what age group, what gender, is there a particular race or ethnicity, any income levels, things like that. Maybe you can use pie charts. There's a lot of cool tools out there to make pie charts that you can find actually under the Apple or the Google Apps section. How does it work? What is Friendster all about? Is there a profile picture? Did people upload videos? Was there, likes, or was there comments, or was there thumbs ups, or was there emojis? What's it all about? Why was it popular? What's the unique aspect of it? Like, Friendster obviously was one of the earlier ones, but then there's other ones that were a little niche oriented, like Snapchat, right? Or Vine. These were very unique in what they brought to the table, so you can talk about that. And then let's say section 3, let's say theoretically Kevin's responsible for that. How has the social media website impacted society? So here we want to look at a little bit of the impact this website has had, such as, what was one of the reasons that it became so popular, because, it brought people back because it gave them a sense of belonging, such as Facebook might give you a sense of belonging and, being liked based on how many images you are commented on. Some of these things, they could be similar throughout other different social media sites, but I want you to look and explore those issues and understand how that may have impacted society. And it may be a positive thing, right, or a negative thing, and there may be both to all sites. Like I think some of these websites have turned into really biased political viewpoints that has created more more division in our society rather than being united. And that's something that may not be evident in Friendster or MySpace, but certainly has started to become apparent in some of these other areas like Facebook and Twitter, right? Areas where people are constantly giving their own personal feedback. Anyway, do users experience depression or anxiety? Has it made the whole world shoot all their videos in the vertical aspect ratio? I should say ratio. Thank you, TikTok. You know what I mean? So now all of you guys are shooting your videos like vertical instead of horizontal, which is the way it was intended to be. But what am I going to do? Pretty soon we'll have large screen TVs that are going to be rotatable anyway, so they already have some of those. So thanks to this new technology, thank you TikTok, we're going to have television screens. Probably part of the remote control will just be like vertical, horizontal, and it'll be on a spinning basis. Mark my words. Okay. Once the site has been completed, you will, this will be added later, you'll evaluate your peer's website, and you will be asked to give a grade and a short critique for your peers' websites. I will provide that to you later on. Evaluate the contributions of your own team members. So Ezra is going to we're going to have you fill out a form. It's going to say, Ezra, what was your participation in this? Do you feel your teammates were participating equally? And you can make any comments on that, and it's all be very confidential. So, as happens a lot in group projects, one team member doesn't carry their weight, and this is an opportunity for you to share that information. And they'll finally once your websites are completed, I'll create a quiz, which will again kind of force you guys to look at everybody else's websites, and it's about 9 websites, so it shouldn't be that hard. So other things down here below the separation of teams, required elements, very important. Each website, and again, you should use Google Sites, as most of you are now familiar with it. I got to check my spelling on these things. The 3 sections specified above, each group member should do 1 section. We talked about that. This is an interesting part. Create a survey of your classmates using Google Forms. Okay, I want to take a look at that right now. So Google Forms is what I've been using for your website competition. And it's super cool and something I totally think you might use not only in this class but in other classes. So it's found in Google Apps up here, and you can go down to Forms. Oops, I did not want that. There's so many apps in here that I haven't explored. And I'm seeing like 4, maybe. I don't know if there's one that does pie charts or something like that, like I was mentioning. I bet there is. So go to Forms, and in your form, say you're doing a form about Friendster, for example. Let's stick with that. And the assignment says, insert a function. Create a survey of your classmates using Google Forms. Use the insert function on Google Sites. Include a minimum of 1 survey. It can be anything you want to be. Example, do you use Facebook? How many hours a day do you use Facebook? All right, that's one of the things good. So here's the form. So you can make a blank form. You can say, this is Friendster poll. Oops, I was got the wrong keyword. Friendster poll. And maybe we can, it's not Friend. All right. And then say question 1 is how do you think the Friendster, right? It's better to ask a question that is a singular answer, rather than having sort of an open-ended question for these deals. You might want to pick a multiple choice, right? You could easily do essay or short answer, paragraph, but it's easier for multiple choice. Or you can do checkboxes too. That's kind of fun. So maybe the question will be, boy, I don't know. This is a hard one. I haven't even thought about it. Do you like the Friend? This is really simplistic. I haven't thought about it. Sorry. Friendster design. All right. And you can say option 1, yes. Option 2, no. All right. So there you've made one question. And then you hit this little plus icon, add question. And then you can say something like, if it were around today, would you use it? Again, very simplistic answers. Yes. No. And then finally we'll do 1/3 question. There's really no limit. I think you should do at least 2 questions. And then let's say maybe just an open-ended question. This is one's kind of different style. We'll do drop down. How many hours a day do you use social media? So maybe you can do a question that's a little bit more open-ended. And let's do a drop down. Let's see. Option 1, we'll say less than 1 hour. Option 2, 1 to 3 hours. Option 3, 4 to 6 hours. Option 4, 7 hours or more. Okay. Then you can change the title here. Actually, if you don't change the title, I think it automatically gives it this title. But you always change it to Friendster poll. So I did that already. All right. So then you'll have that poll. Friendster's not a real word. When you go back into your forms area, you'll see Friendster poll there, right? So let me look at it again. I want to do a preview, see if it really works. So you can go up here and do a preview with this little eyeball. Do you like the Friendster design? Sure. If you're around today, sure. How many hours a day do you use social media? Drop down. And you can pick whatever the correct answer would be. Probably I don't know, let's say I use 1 to 3 hours a week or a day. And then you submit it, and Bob's your uncle. You got yourself a poll. And then I wanted to show you something, though. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go back. This is actually one of those things I think is super important. If you go up to the gear icon, and you should probably take this off, the one that says restrict users at Pasadena City College. You could take that off. Then if people are logged in and they're not logged in under Pasadena City College, they could still, you could do limit to 1 response. I don't know, that's up to you. Respondents can edit after submit. You can give them that option. This is the one I think you should do. See summary, charts, and text responses. So that gives your fellow students a chance to actually see what other people have voted for. So I think it just makes it a little bit more interesting to them. So they can click on a little link that says, see what other people have done, and it shows it to you. All right, so I'm going to do that. Okay. And then let's go back here. So I made my poll. That didn't take too long, right? Finally, every website should have a reference page where you are expected to cite your resources using MLA8 style. So you can use one page for all your references. But if you're doing images, you should cite your images immediately underneath the photo. That's a preferred method. Same thing with videos. So if you're doing a photo, make sure you put that citation right underneath the photo. No less than 250 words per section. 5 or more images, so that's kind of standard. 5 or more images properly cited. 1 or more video clips. Also a video clip of yourself explaining like a particular section, like maybe Ezra does a little bit about the history of Friendster, and he wants to talk for just 1 minute about why it started, what was the inspiration. And he found out through his research that there was, a club that met together, and I don't know, I'm just making stuff up, but he may just talk about that one little section. You don't have to have it be an entire overview. It could be just like one section. All right. I think that's about it. So when you're done, just submit your URL. So one last thing I want to do is to go to Google Sites, and I want to show you how you insert that poll. So this is my social media test survey. No, that's not what I want. I want to go to Sites. I did a test for this. I did a little preparation for this one. Where's Sites at? Right there. So these are all my sites. And let's see, group test site. This is my group test site. So basically it should be kind of laid out like this. So you have your home page where you can say, talk about Friendster. And maybe you have a real brief little section down here that says, this, Friendster, maybe a little headline more or less. The first social media hit. I don't know, something like that. You guys are super creative. You'll do a lot better than me with that. Put your name up here, though. That'd be great if you put all your names on here. Like, if you can do Ezra, Kevin, who else was in this group? Can't remember. But so maybe put all your names in there. Ezra, Andrew, Kevin might be helpful. That would be actually great. Andrew and Kevin. And then, so the next section would be select poll. Let me see. I'm going to change it to, maybe change the name to Section A, History. All right, and then the section poll 2 is going to be, I'm going to rename that somehow. Section B. What is the section B? How it works, or something like that. How it works. Let's just say how it works. All right. How it works, right? And then actually, it would be great if you put your name in here too. Who's doing that section? And then we'll add one more page. So there's a little plus down here. Add another page. Call this one Section C, Social Impact. All right, and then we'll add one more section, which will be a references page. Okay. So, why did I get that to go there? Uh-oh. I don't want that. And social impact was Kevin, right? Alright, so there. Basically have a little bit of a way it's broken down. You got all 3 sections covered. You got a home page. And I did want to insert, so let's go to section A, for example. Actually, let's go to section C. You can get there through here too. Should take you there. Oh, the other very important thing I forgot. You can make your website a shared site, so multiple people can operate it at the same time or at different times. How you do that is you go to share with others, and you make it change the links to draft. Anyone with the link can edit. So you make sure that is selected. And that will give the ability for everyone in your team to access the website either at the same time or even, at different times. So you can, Ezra can come in here and he could be working on his section at the same time that Andrew's working on his section. All right. Sometimes it doesn't react as fast as I would like it to do. Yeah. Well, you get what you pay for. It's free, so. But then it's also pretty easy. So let me. The last thing I want to show you is how to insert that poll. So we go to Insert, and you want to insert the poll. So if you go down, here's some layout stuff, by the way. So you can play with that too. If you want to have like a picture and then an image next to it, that's a good way to do that. You can select an image, and I'll just pick one that happens to be in my file here. I don't even know where this came from. So these pictures, I don't even know what they are. All right, anyway, that one's a nice one. And then here's whatever, an image, text. You can say Music Night at the Apollo or whatever it is. Oh, I'm always hitting the wrong keyboard. So this was an event at PCC, but obviously it's kind of a big, so let's change it to, and here we can say, faculty and students perform. So it's kind of nice to get a way to do a little side by side. Okay, off the beaten track. So if you go down a little bit further, you can do image carousel, which is really cool. I've seen some of you guys use that option, which is cool. You can do dividers, placeholders. I'm not sure what that does. You can pop your YouTube videos directly in here. If you just pop in, you can just basically search your YouTube video for, maybe some topic, right? So Friendster, the greatest failed internet startup. So maybe you might want to use that as part of your project, right? So maybe you stick that right in there. You can make it bigger, make it smaller. All right. So then finally, we're going to go down to insert a form. It's going to say, okay, you can insert any form that you have on your computer. So I'm going to insert Friendster poll. And then just hit insert. And boom, Bob's your uncle. I always say that. I think it's fun to say. It's an old British saying, I think. Bob's your uncle. There it is. So now you can do a preview. Preview your little video, your Social C, Section C, Social Impact. There's a picture of one of our faculty members playing guitar. And I don't know who this other guy is. He's probably also faculty. Here's the video. And it should link you straight up to a video about Friendster. This is kind of scary because I haven't previewed this. Going blind. Hope it's appropriate.
Friendster was the way to get social.
All right, got that? Oh, Beautiful. So far you're hitting all the buttons correctly. Friendster poll, do you like the Friendster design? I do like it. It's a little busy, but if it were around today, yeah, I'll probably use it. How many hours a day do you use it? I use it 1 to 3 hours. And then you hit submit, and it should give you it says your responses. You want to see previous responses? Sure. And then it takes you to this breakdown of how everybody answered the question. Anyway, I think it's super cool, and I think you're going to like it. So that's that. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Super long video. I can never make these things short. Sorry. But there it is. Have fun with it. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's see if I can get out of here. Let me go. Can I stop it? Oh, no. It's like it's stuck. Okay. Thank you, guys. Try to get out.